Today we're going to be talking about cast iron skillets. Cast iron is a great tool for cooking. It's really durable, it will last a lifetime, it heats evenly and it gets really hot. My favorite recipe to use for a cast iron skillet is to cook a steak in it. It's the best steak you'll ever have. Every day you use your cast iron skillet, you give it a rinse, you dry it really well, you wipe it down with a little cast iron oil, and you set it to the side and it's ready to go again. But sometimes you don't really keep up with that, and your skillet starts to look a little bad. So let's talk about how to revive this skillet. So the first thing you want to do is take some sort of plastic scraper. You can also use a spatula, just something with kind of a straight edge, and any stuck on food, you're going to want to gently scrape that out of there. Loosen it up. Not everything's going to come out, and that's okay. We'll get to that stuff in a minute. But the bigger pieces, let's go ahead and try to get those out of the way. Now, I grew up in the country where the method was throw it in the fire, dig it out the next morning, and scrub it to death with steel wool. However, we're going to try a little gentler method today that won't take the smoothness out of a pre-seasoned skillet. So we're going to start with a little salt. This is kosher salt. It's kind of more coarse. You can either take a towel or a sponge and just start scrubbing. This is going to kind of sand off gently all that cooked on food, any rust spots. If your salt starts to break down, just sprinkle in a little more and keep scrubbing. All right, so once you feel like you've got the majority of the stuck on stuff out of there, if you look, the salt kind of starts changing colors. It takes on the color of the stuff that you've scrubbed off. You're gonna dump the salt. Now on the outside, feel free to use a little steel wool. It doesn't matter if this doesn't stay as polished and smooth. You're not cooking on the outside anyway. So now that we've got all the stuff scrubbed off and it's pretty smooth and clean, we're gonna wash it really well. We're gonna use a little cast iron soap and some hot water, give it a good scrub, rinse it really well, and then stick it in a 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes to make sure it's good and dry. While it's still a little warm, we need to apply a little cast iron oil. I like to do this with a paper towel. Just take a few, kind of fold them up, put some oil in the pan, and then wipe it around. You wanna make sure you coat everything really well. Starts to get a little dry, add a little more. See my paper towel is getting a little black? That's totally okay. That's what iron does. You want to get all the way up the sides, on the bottom, on the rim. I like to throw a little on the handle too. And then when it's cool enough to flip over, you want to get the outside too. You'll notice the more that you cook and season your pan every time that you use it, the smoother and smoother the inside will be. Now, worst case scenario, your pan is completely rusted. You do the old country method of throw it in the fire and scrub it with steel wool. You've got to start from scratch with your seasoning. My mom always said, get it good and clean, coat it with oil inside and out, put it upside down in your oven. Then you just heat it as high as your oven will go, let it cook for about 20 minutes, turn it off and leave it there all night, and it should be seasoned and ready for you the next time you need to use it.